In 1949, Mao Zedong stood before a sea of people here at Tiananmen Gate and announced the founding of the People's Republic of China. Mao proclaimed then that the Chinese people have stood up. This was a vision for China that has resonated from the 19th century Qing dynasty reformers to this day. The deep yearning among Chinese to regain their nation's wealth, power, international respect, and territorial integrity. And after 6 decades of social engineering, which involved much turmoil and the deaths of millions, China is now a major global power. In 2010, China passed Japan to become the world's second largest economy behind the United States. In Beijing, the capital city, busy shoppers crowd the streets, even as consumers in Europe and United States cut spending in the throes of the worst economic crisis in decades. The city is where many come to realize their dreams and make their fortune. And propelling the double-digit growths of China is an army of migrant workers. China is now experiencing the largest mass migration of people from the countryside to the city in history. Over 140 million Chinese people have left the countryside and migrated to the cities in recent years. In Beijing, 1 in 4 residents are migrants. Many are former farm workers.
城市钱好挣一点，在家种地，你春天种下去的东西全靠秋天的收，但是这天要让你收就让你收，不让你收你收不着。在外边你辛苦一点怎么着？是不是啊？你要是做小时工，早上挣钱，早上你打工，晚上人就给你钱。
Nin Bao has been living in Beijing for a decade. He works in construction or takes on any odd jobs that he might find. He makes $200 a month, but that's hardly enough to feed his 5 children. China has a one-child policy, but some families do not report the births, choosing to deliver in private clinics, often with unhygienic conditions. The Wangs had 4 girls before their son was born.
我说这农村毕竟就有老人家脑子一根筋，就想不开，就是非生了一个男孩。现在觉得也生了一个男孩，也觉得心里就也没什么想法了，什么这样那样的。那时候也没想到什么困难什么那个，就老是抱着旧思想，老是不生一个儿子，就心里就不踏实，怎么那个也那时候就光几个女儿回家，他爷爷怕他爷爷他们觉得心里啊，怎么都是盼望孙子吧。
The Wangs have broken the law, and like many others in China, they are choosing to keep quiet about it. Chinese policy is such that couples would be fined 3 to 10 times their annual income if they have more than 1 child. But not registering their kids also means that these children are not entitled to subsidized schooling, healthcare, or any forms of welfare. And in the future, it will be hard for them to get jobs, as they will have no identification papers.
听说啊，也有人家说是，独生1个孩子、2个孩子的，回家发点钱是怎么着？你想发我们钱，我们怎么发？你拿什么发给人家？人家1个孩子，比如说发1万，哎，他能完了，能办个事儿就拿1万块钱没事。你叫我们5个孩子，你叫我拿1万块现金，我拿不出来。我就考虑这个很无助。
Visitors to Beijing are often dazzled by the city's many developments and new riches. But the struggles of the Wang family are much more reflective of China's population. China's per capita income is more on par with those of impoverished nations like Algeria, El Salvador, and Thailand. 28% of the urban population lives in slums in conditions like this. It's not unusual for a family of 4 or 5 to live in just one room. According to World Bank estimates, The Chinese make an average of $3,600 per annum, compared to Americans who make about $46,000. And life is particularly difficult for the millions of migrant workers and their families. Many don't expect to break the poverty cycle in this generation, but they have high hopes that the economy will bring better prospects for their offspring.
未来希望就是希望孩子好好的上学呗，就是把孩子都给他抚养，再穷再苦也给孩子上学，现在就这个希望，没什么想着什么，人家有什么要什么，那没有这个想法，反正人家给什么就穿什么呗，对，这就自个儿瞎穿穿呗，人家有的人说我给的东西你觉得旧不旧啊？觉得那个，我说没感觉到这样。我说我们也这么多孩子，你也别想着这样那样的，只想着把孩子给他吃饱喝饱喝好就行了。穿着，说随便什么给我什么就要什么呗。
The Wangs are among those who are investing what little they earn in education, so that their children may one day be prosperous. As they cannot attend state-run schools, the Wang family girls are going to unregulated private school, which costs almost half of the family's monthly income. Such schools have sprung up all around Beijing to cater to the children of migrant families. But these schools are unregulated, overcrowded, and more than half of the teachers there have never taught before. The situation compelled one person to take action.
So I moved to China back in 2003, and I came on a U.S. government scholarship program for adults to study Mandarin, and very quickly I got involved in the nonprofit sector and began working for quite a large NGO here in China. One day in 2005, one of my friends took me out to a migrant school, and I came back really overwhelmed by the need. I was shocked that I had not known anything about that in the few years that I'd lived in Beijing. And so I started doing a bit of research, and I found that there was about 500,000 migrant children in Beijing, about 5 million migrants in Beijing, which is quite a large portion of the population here. So I first began walking into migrant communities every day for a few months, and saw a lot of the children just running around and without parents to care for them and to look after them after school. They were in these unlicensed, illegal migrant schools that were very poor quality of education that they were studying at. And so we began just to walk into the different schools and talk to the headmasters and say, what can we do on behalf of these wonderful kids that you have here at your school?
With $2,000 and a group of volunteers, Jonathan started the non-profit Compassion for Migrant Children, and they opened community centres in the heart of the migrant district. Here, older migrant youth attend a 6-month life vocational skills training program in the day. The teenagers are taught computer skills, English, and also given internship opportunities in companies. Many of them are new in the city, and the program helps them assimilate and make new friends. In the evenings, children from the surrounding unlicensed migrant schools pour in to attend the 2-hour after-school program, where they are tutored and take part in activities which foster creativity. The program is a big help to the Wang family, who is having difficulty paying for tuition in the private school. Since its inception in 2006, Compassion for Migrant Children has helped thousands of other children like the Wangs.
We are in the process of opening our 6th community center. We have about 26 full-time staff in Beijing and Shanghai. We have about 1,000 volunteers that really help support our full-time staff on a day-to-day basis out on the programs as well. And so we are continuing to expand, and as we've picked up speed, we've built an infrastructure that we feel that can help us grow healthily throughout China and throughout many urban centers. And so our goal for the next decade or so is to open and help others open up about 25 community centers around China.
Experience the past like never before with History Hit's award-winning original documentaries and ad-free podcasts with our expert historians like Dan Snow, Susanna Lipscomb, Lucy Worsley, Mary Beard, Tristan Hughes and myself, Matt Lewis. Sign up For an exclusive discount using the link in the description, and embark on your historical journey from the wonders of ancient Egypt and the life of Anne Boleyn to the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte and the discovery of Shackleton's endurance. Get history wherever, whenever, exclusively on History Hit.
For Jonathan, China is now his home. He has picked up Mandarin and is a familiar face to many in the migrant community.
就是那个家长可以输进去，怎么看这些孩子，然后如果孩子跟你有就说有麻烦，怎么爱他，怎么鼓励他。
Leaving the United States 7 years ago, Jonathan had no idea what was in store for him. But so far, it's been a fulfilling journey.
7 years ago, when I got on the airplane to come across the Pacific Ocean to China, I was over the Pacific Ocean. I felt a strong sense of death. And I thought, what have you done to your natural, normal future that you would have had back in America? And it was extremely depressing, actually, on the airplane. But when I landed, I was able to just look forward. And I feel like I just was able to release the former part of my life and embrace a new part of life. And I think that looking back, the reason why I got on the airplane was I had so many experiences, even from the age of 13 going to Central America, and the age of 16 being able to go to Thailand and live in the tents there on the side of a mountain during the summer season to try to build a drug rehab center. Of course, we were only 16, so I don't know that a lot got done. By the time we left, I don't think we even had a roof on the place. It was a horrible job that we did, but it really impressed upon me the needs of those around the world. And going back to the reason why I got on the airplane, I felt that I had experienced so much and saw so much that I had a responsibility to begin to use some of my life on behalf of those that weren't as fortunate as I was.
Jonathan's work is sowing the seed of change in these migrant communities. As the children become better educated, they are more well equipped to ride the growth of China's economy and lift their families out of poverty. It is 8 a.m. on a Friday morning, and these students are already hard at work in class. They have all arrived from the rural areas of China, and they have 6 months to muster whatever skills they need to get a job in the bustling cities.
我今年是18岁，然后就是感觉来到北京，反正是机遇大一点吧，然后出来肯定是锻炼人。在家，反正自己在家，也就是说在那就是那么一个小地方工作，反正也没什么太大来气感觉。
我今年19岁，那我来北京的原因是因为我就是上完初3的以后就不念书了，因为在家嘛总是没有就出来这个机会，听说就农家女给我们这些农村的女孩一个机会，完了就通过家里人的说服，完了就来到北京农家女学校。
Girls in rural areas have limited education opportunities. 1 in 2 girls stop at primary education, and women account for 70% of adults who are illiterate. Despite various government campaigns, many rural families continue to see their girls as liabilities that do not add value to the family wealth. And every year there are at least 30,000 people who abort their babies once they realize it's a girl. To address such gender discrimination, the non-profit Practical Skills Training Center for Rural Women was set up. These girls will be trained as facial therapists, kindergarten teachers, waitresses and nannies. They will get a job in the fast-growing cities, but they are among the lucky few migrant workers who will receive some formal training before entering the job market. The majority of women who move to the cities will have had no training. And there are millions of them every year. An estimated 1/3 of China's migrant population of over 140 million people are women, and they are vastly overrepresented in unskilled, low-paying and labour-intensive jobs. Many of them are also very young. Dong Fen, for example, arrived in Beijing in 2004 when she was only 18 years old.
我是一个梦想很大的女孩子，然后如果在家乡的话，我觉得我的命运和那个很多我们村里的女孩一样，就是结婚生子。可是我希望我的梦想或者我的人生可以，更个人色彩多一些，然后可以更丰富一些。我之所以没有念书，并不是因为我学习不好，是因为我的家庭没有能力可以供我和弟弟继续念书。
Dong Fen first got a job as a waitress when she came to Beijing. She was working 6 days a week for $180 each month. She says the money was good, but the hours were long and city life can be disorientating for someone so new to it. She heard of the social enterprise Huadan, targeted at migrant female workers like her, and being curious, Dong Fen attended her first Huadan session. Huadan has a unique vision of using art and theatre to deliver social change.
春花，你负责的包间那个盘子摆的特别不整齐，重摆一次。知道了。刘芳，你负责的包间那个餐巾叠的特别难看，重叠一次。哦，什么事啊？什么又要钱？生活费用？哎，你们都要生活，那我的生活呢？ 你们需要钱，我不需要吗？我一个人在这儿，你知道我多长时间没买过衣服了？我都已经1年多没买过了。我想买2本书，我都等了半年多。哎，你还好意思问我为什么？你说为什么？我天天加班，哪有时间？钱都给你们汇去了，我哪有钱给自己买东西？行了行了，别说那么多废话了。 行，这次要多少？1200。什么时间要？
Huadan workshops enact scenarios faced by migrant workers. And after the act, the girls who are also migrant workers themselves will be split up into groups to discuss issues the play brought up. At the end of the workshop, they have to present their own skits. Through theatre, these women now had a platform to express themselves and discuss their dilemmas. The workshops also provide a forum for participants to come together and contribute to solutions as a group. Dong Fen was drawn to this creative practice, and she became a regular at Huadan.
参加花旦的是戏剧影响我，因为我们要在舞台上表演，我们要说很多东西。 那包括有这个平台，可以让我自由地发挥我自己，它在不断地给我增强我自己的能量，无论是自信也好，或者是说对自己的认识也好，或者是这种创新也好，或者是说领导的能力也好，整个这些过程都在一点一点地注入到我的这个人的身体里面去。
Huadan was started by Caroline Watson in 2004. She was trained in theatre in the UK. And after coming to Beijing, she was struck by the challenges which Chinese women faced.
Women that are originally from the rural areas of China tend to suffer an enormous amount of discrimination in a society that still prefers boy children. So women often don't have access to many opportunities, particularly if they're in the rural area. They maybe don't have a full education. They have very low expectations for their lives, you know, early marriage, early child rearing, and are not expected to realize in many ways their full capabilities. But at the same time as this was happening, there's also China's great shift and great development forward, and as such many people from rural areas are moving into the cities. So women who previously perhaps in another generation would have stayed in the village and raised a family are now moving to Beijing temporarily to get work and are tending to stay. And so they are sort of, in some ways, they're dealing with the challenges of being a woman in China whilst also witnessing and being very much a key part of China's great development forward. And that for me became a very interesting dynamic to see that these people, because they're moving between different worlds, there's also some very interesting creative opportunities that I think emerge out of this dynamic.
Through the Huadan workshops, Dong Fen and Caroline formed a friendship. And after 3 years, when Caroline raised enough funds to employ staff, Dong Fen became one of the first employees. Together, the two women worked to reach out to other migrant workers through theatre, to help them build self-confidence and adjust to city life.
对于很多打工妹来说，她们来到这个城市，基本上是以个体，或者是说2、3个这样的叫做就是同乡。2、3个同乡，然后一起去到一个城市打工。那其实很少机会有同乡在同一个地方工作的，一般都是自己一个人。那其实，在工作岗位来说，能交到朋友吗？能，但是跟学校不一样，交到的朋友吧都会比较复杂，而且都是因为如果有竞争的话，也会有勾心斗角的事情发生，所以呢就。不是那么容易交到知心的朋友。可是，在花旦这个空间不一样，因为我们没有工作上的利益冲突，然后我们只是一个空间，让自己去释放一些东西，或者是得到一些东西。所以在这个空间的时候，他可以没有猜忌，或者是没有害怕，或者是没有担心，可以很自由的去交流。所以当然可以帮助每个人寂寞的问题。
The workshops also helped many women to learn to stand up for themselves.
When I first came to China and I first started running workshops, one of the really striking things that people would say to me was just that people had never really spoken about these things openly before. That the workshops really gave people an opportunity to be able to voice issues that they might have thought about but not necessarily actually discussed as a group as a whole. I think we really encourage people in that way to find their voice, to have their individual voice, and to understand that what they have to say is worth something.
In recent years, Huadan was commissioned by UNESCO to produce a short drama on the challenges faced by domestic workers. They also worked with the International Council of Toy Industries to increase awareness of health and safety issues among workers in China's toy factories through drama. As its business grows, this social enterprise stays true to its roots by employing migrant women.
A very critical part of Huadan's model, as it has become now, is that we recruit and train migrant women themselves to actually be facilitators in our organisation, and this is sort of very critical to moving forward with our work. So, for example, I have seen how a woman who, was not really able to assert herself with her family about what she might want out of life and her dreams and things she would like to achieve, now through her participation in a Huadan workshop and now her involvement within the organisation itself has enabled her to, if you like, to take ownership over her own life and what she would really like to see come to fruition.
For thousands of years, the tradition here has been that women should be subservient. Girls were taught from a very young age to be submissive to their fathers, then to their husbands, and later to their sons. Chinese traditionally consider boys to be more valuable because while girls typically leave their parents to live with their husband's family, male children take responsibility for supporting their parents in old age. China's recent development has caused a shift in this thinking. Thanks to the booming economy, women now account for about 45% of the total employed population. More and more women are also finding employment in high-tech sectors such as the computer, software, telecommunications and finance industries, although their pay are still lower than the males. The government, on its part, has been very proactive in promoting gender equality and focusing on education for girls. There are still significant strides that need to be made, but the good news is that China is on track to global gender equality goals. And for individuals like Dong Fen, there is now a real chance for their dreams to become a reality.
我在火车上面有写日记，然后我偶尔会回去看一下我以前写过的日记。那我就看到了那个时候的梦想就很简单，就是希望在北京挣多一点钱，然后找到一个男朋友，然后回家给家里盖一个房子。那这是来北京之初的愿望。然后在前面1年的时候，农家女学校有跟我约要写一个文章，关于我的成长经历。那在这个文章写完之后呢，我就标了新的3个愿望。那第1个愿望是希望可以帮助花旦很快的创造盈利的项目，然后可以尽快的发展海外的市场。那第2个目标呢是可以帮助家里面盖新的房子。那第3个目标呢是可以找到自己的男朋友，然后谈恋爱、结婚这样。那现在呢，到现在为止呢，这个目标已经实现了1个半。1个半呢就是帮家里面盖了房子，当然现在还有很多欠款要还，不过最少有新的房子可以在家里，然后爸爸妈妈住着很舒服的房子，然后在农村的话，那样的小2楼的房子已经是很舒服了。那另外的花旦现在慢慢的也已经有很小的盈利的项目了，对，然后至于男朋友呢还在找。
Nepal is home to the majestic Mount Everest. And every year more than 500,000 people from all over the world journey here. They come to the countryside to take in the sights of the mighty glaciers, the tranquil lakes, and the beauty that nature has to offer. But even as international travelers flock to rural Nepal, natives here are compelled to leave their homes. 1 in 3 people here make less than $1 a day, and rural poverty drives many to trade the wide open space of the country for crammed rooms in the capital city, Kathmandu. The population in Kathmandu Valley is growing by 25% per year, and it is putting unprecedented stress on the city's infrastructure. In 1985, it was estimated that there were only 17 squatter communities in Kathmandu, but now the number has grown to over 40. Anjana Budatoki and her 2 children are among those who were forced to make this move 7 years ago. There was no work to be found in the village, but more importantly, they were also trapped in a violent war between Maoist rebels and the ruling monarchy.
बम पड्किने आफ्नो जीवधनको सुरक्षा भएन आज पनि हिँड भन्ने भोलि पनि हिँड भन्ने गाह्रो भयो वहाँ बस्नलाई आफ्नो जीवको सुरक्षा गर्नलाई गाह्रो भयो अब बिहानै बेलुका आउने खाना पका भन्ने यताउता गर भन्ने पुलिसको पनि डर हुन्छ माओवादीको पनि डर हुन्छ यता माओवादीलाई गर्यो भने उता पुलिसको डर भयो पुलिसलाई गर्यो माओवादीको डर भयो बाँच्न सकेन वहाँनिर अनि सधैँ गाह्रो भयो बस्नलाई अनि हामी त्यही भएर अनि हिँडेको
Until Nepal became a republic in May 2008, it had been ruled by monarchs from these palaces for most of its modern history. In 1996, Maoist rebels started a war to overthrow the monarchy, destroying the peace for almost a decade. By 2006, more than 12,000 people were dead, and 100,000 people were displaced, according to UN figures. Anjana and her family thought that by moving to Kathmandu, they will escape the conflict, which affected rural areas worst. So the family rented this small and dark room in the city. The hope was that when her husband found a job, they would be able to move to a larger space. But that never materialized.
बस्नुहुन्न अहिले हिँडेको 5-6 वर्ष भइसक्यो 5 वर्ष भइसक्यो अत्तोपत्तो थाहा छैन गाउँ जान्छु भनेर जानु भएको गाउँमा पनि पुग्नु भएको छैन फर्केर नि आउनु भएको छैन कहाँ जानुभयो के गर्नुभयो खोजेको मैले कहीँ पनि पत्तो लागेको छैन अहिलेसम्म फर्केर नि आउनु भएको छैन 5 वर्ष भइसक्यो थाहा नै छैन
Kritan, who is now 6, hopes that someday his father will come home. But the fact is, more than 800 people went missing during the decade-long insurgency in the country, and they never had a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. During the Maoist insurgency, Nepal became one of the world's most notorious countries for political disappearances. The majority were people taken by the security forces on suspicion of being involved with the Maoists. Others were abducted by the Maoists. Family members suffer with little hope of finding out what happened to their loved ones.
शक त अब नमार्यो भन्ने अब मनमा डर छ, शक छ। अब यहाँ धेरै द्वन्द्वहरू भएर धेरै मारिरहेछ, सानो कुराले पनि मारिरहेछ। त्यसैले न केही भएर मारिदियो, न कहीँ केटी लिएर गएर अब मबाट टाढै गएर बसेर उ गरिरहेछ, मलाई दुःख दिएको हो कि त्यस्तो अब भन्न त सक्दिनँ, तै पनि मनमा त्यस्तो लाग्छ। अब त्यस्तो खालको मान्छे त थिएन, अरू ल्याउँछ गर्छ खालको मान्छे त थिएन। तै पनि न मबाट टाढा भएर अरू नै लिएर बसेको छ कि न कतै मारेर फालिदियो, त्यस्तो मनमा डर लाग्छ। अहिलेसम्म भेटघाट भएको छैन, 5 वर्ष भइसक्यो।
Since that time, Anjana and her daughter had been working odd jobs to survive. Her daughter Kriti, who is 13 years old this year, works as domestic help in the morning before attending school in the afternoons.
मैले अब त्यो बच्चाहरूलाई अब पढाएर आफूले पढ्न नपाए पनि, आफूले दुःख पाए पनि बच्चाहरूलाई पढाएर सरकारी स्कुलमा भए पनि पढाएर उनीहरूलाई आँखा देखाइदिने विचार गरेको छु। अब आफू सधैँभरि भारी बोकेर खान त सक्दैन, गाह्रो हुन्छ। बच्चाहरू अलि ठुलो भएपछि अब सानोतिनो पसल राखेर भए पनि यसो त्यस्तै गरेर खाने विचार छ। अब त्योभन्दा अरू अब पसल राखेर बच्चाहरूले पनि साथ दिन्छ, आफूलाई पनि अब भारी बोक्न सकिँदैन, त्यस्तै गर्ने अब योजना छ।
They are still living in the same house that they first moved into. The place is shared by 3 other families. Due to the space constraint, all cooking and cleaning takes place outside the house along the public walkway. There is no toilet within the house. Electricity comes on and off. Anjana's predicament is not uncommon here. 1/3 of Kathmandu Valley's residents live in similar rental housing. The more resourceful ones find empty land and build their homes using different types of scrap material. Thana, like Anjana, migrated to Kathmandu from the countryside, and she is part of a squatter community along the Bagmati River.
हामीलाई त अब काम गरेर खाने ठाउँ नभयो समस्या। काम गरेर खाने ठाउँ भएन, अनि त्यहाँहरि काठमाडौँतिर काम गरेर खान पाइन्छ रे भनेर अनि आएको। काठमाडौँ भाडामा बस्यो, अनि भाडामा बसेर अनि यो ठाउँमा दाइले रोकिराख्नु भएको थियो। दाइ आउनु भएको थियो मेरो, अनि दाइ बसिरहनु भएको थियो, अनि मलाई एक छेउ दिनु भएको थियो, आइज बस भनेर। अनि त्यहाँहरि आएर बसेर अनि दाइहरू उता जानुभयो, अनि मलाई यो छोडिदिनु भयो कि तेरो अब बस्ने ठाउँ छैन, तैँले भाडा तिर्न सकेनस्, बच्चा पढाउन सकेनस् भनेर अनि मलाई यो ठाउँ छोडिदिनु भएको थियो। अनि म यो ठाउँमा बसेर अहिले मैले दुःख सुख गरेर मैले घर बनाएर अनि बसेको। मेरो पहिला त बोराले उ त्यो पातीले बारेको थियो, झोप्पोर थियो मेरो।
The house has no running water. A tanker comes every week and each family gets 3 pots of water a week for all their needs. There is also no waste disposal system. Waste is burnt or thrown in the river.
मुख्यतया काठमाडौँमा चाहिँ प्रब्लम भएको चाहिँ फोहोर मैलाको विशेष प्रब्लम चाहिँ छ। त्यसमा चाहिँ मेजर नगरपालिकाले नै गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने एउटा छ भने अर्को चाहिँ मान्छेहरूमा चाहिँ जनचेतनाको अभाव एउटा र मान्छेहरूमा चाहिँ एउटा घरमा आएको वेस्टलाई चाहिँ खाली एक ठाउँबाट अर्को ठाउँमा सार्ने मात्रै काम हो भन्ने एउटा चाहिँ त्यो धारणाले गर्दाखेरि प्रब्लम चाहिँ धेरै आएको छ।
Right behind where Thana sleeps is a pigsty. The animals are bred and sold. The smell from the pigs permeates the entire house. During the monsoon, the house also suffers from floods for 3 months due to its location on the riverbank. But Thana says she is content here.
सकसहरू बोक्नु परेन उनीहरुको गाली गर्छ नि अब भने टाइम टेबलमा पैसा तिर्न सकेन निस्केर जा भन्छ यहाँ त त्यो त भन्ने मान्छे त छैन नि यो त आफ्नै घर जस्तो भयो हैन आफ्नो घर जस्तो भयो अनि बच्चाहरुलाई नि जे होस् अब थपथप गरेर भन्ने नि यसो अब दुख बिमारमा आफूले अलिअलि कमाएको भाडा तिर्ने पैसाले उनीहरुलाई उपचार गर्न पुग्यो.
Health is certainly a challenge in the slums. Recent calculations by the World Health Organization estimates that about 13,000 children aged under 5 years die each year in Nepal from diarrheal diseases, and a further 13,000 from acute respiratory infections. The situation is trying, but it's a consolation that one can always count on their neighbors' help.
हामी छरछिमेकीहरु सबै राम्रै छौं हामी मिलजुल छौं र अब महिला बचत पनि छ हाम्रो अनि यस्तो दुख बिमार भएला एकअर्काबाट हामी उसको एउटा सहयोग पनि गर्छौं अनि हामी अब सबै मिलजुल छ बच्चाहरु पनि मिलजुल छ बच्चाहरु झन् सबै घरबाट भएर सहयोग गरेर उनीहरुले अब हस्पिटल लाने हो कि के गर्ने औषधि उपचार आमा बाउ घर नभए नि त्यो गर्दिन्छ हाम्रो त्यस्तो राम्रो छ कि त्यस्तो झै झगडा गर्नु यस्तो उस्तो गर्नु केही पनि छैन हाम्रो एकदम राम्रो छ हाम्रो महिला बचत पनि छ आमा सम्मान छ त्यो भएको कारणले हामीलाई राम्रो सजिलो छ.
If given a choice, Thana wants to continue living here. Her biggest fear is eviction.
समस्या त त्यही त मैले अघि नै लगभग भनिसकेको छ समस्या न जबरजस्ती उठिरहेको कुरा भइरहेछ अहिले पनि भइरहेछ अहिले पनि र त्यसमा चाहिँ अब भनौं न अब समस्या भनेको एक त सरकारले नेगेटिभ सोच हेर्ने जस्तो स्क्वाटरलाई नेगेटिभ सोच हेर्ने अनि जबरजस्ती उठिबास गरेर लैजाने पठाइदिने त्यसको कुनै पनि अब विकल्प नदिने नीति बनाउनेमा चाहिँ अब सरकारबाट कुनै पनि एउटा पहल नगर्नु कमजोर नीति बन्यो भने कमजोर नीति बन्नु यही नै जसमा मलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ.
Globally, UN estimates that the number of slum dwellers has increased by 55 million people from the year 2000 to 2010. There are now about 828 million people living in slums worldwide. Governments in developing countries have tried to tackle the issue through relocation and slum upgrading projects. But here in Nepal, the unstable political situation means that the problems of slum dwellers have largely gone unanswered. After living in the slums on the road for 22 years, the Pariya family was given a week's notice to vacate their houses so that road construction can begin. Their house was next to a filthy river and in a terrible condition, but it was all they had at the time.
अब त्यहाँ हाम्रो त भनौं त्यो घर भत्काउने भएपछि त अब हाम्रो त्यहाँ अब पहिला त्यहाँ सानो कमिटी थियो त्यो कमिटीमा चाहिँ अब हाम्रो परिवार सबै त्यो टोलभरिकै परिवार चाहिँ कहाँ बस्ने के गर्ने भन्ने हामीलाई चाहिँ धेरै नै पिर पर्यो धेरै अब त्यस्तो भयो अनि अब हामीले चाहिँ अब कोहीले चाहिँ घर भत्काएर पनि त्यही घरमै जस्ता ठाडो गरेर नि बसे कोठा खोज्न जाँदाखेरि कोठा पाएन अब यस्तो सुकुम्बासीमा बस्ने मान्छेलाई कोठा नदिने यिनीहरु झगडा हुन्छ यस्तो हुन्छ कोठा दिदैनौं हामी भन्ने पनि भयो त्यहाँ हेर्नुस् अब त्यहाँ भएको अब त्यहाँ बसी त अब बच्चाहरु पढ्नलाई पनि अब कहाँ लाने अब यहाँ हाम्रो घर भत्काएपछि हामी त्यही बसिरहेको 20-22 वर्ष त्यहाँ बसेको अब बच्चाहरुलाई पनि कहाँ लाने के गर्ने कसरी पढाउने अब हामी कहाँ गएर बस्ने होला भन्ने हाम्रो त्यस्तो पिर भयो अब काम गर्ने ठाउँमा पनि अब काम एकातिर छ उता घर भत्किने लाग्यो उता कोठा खोज्न पर्यो अब कामपट्टिको पनि टेन्सन भयो उता घरको टेन्सन भयो हाम्रो धेरै नै त्यस्तो भयो बच्चाहरुको अब हाम्रो त्यो बस्ने पुरै त्यो कति त्यो 43-44 घरको 146-46 घरको सबै फ्यामिलीलाई नै हामीलाई चाहिँ एकदम नै पिर पर्यो एकदम टेन्सन नै भयो एकदम हेर्नुस् त.
When the road construction was first announced, the government made no plans for the 140 families living in the slums. The roads were marked as disused land, even though hundreds called it home. The NGO Lumanti was already working in the slums at that time, and their first task was to prove the existence of slum dwellers and to give them a voice.
सुरुमा चाहिँ नि त्यो कम्युनिटीमा चाहिँ नि त्यो जुन यो प्रोजेक्ट यो लिंक रोड आयो त्यो बेला त्यहाँ चाहिँ नि मान्छेहरु चाहिँ नि एकदमै संगठित थिएन त्यसको लागि हामीले चाहिँ नि समुदायमा बैठक राख्यौं धेरै पटक डिस्कसन मिटिङहरु पनि गर्यौं त्यसपछि चाहिँ नि सरकारको तर्फमा चाहिँ नि उहाँहरुको चाहिँ नि त्यहाँ सेटलमेन्टै छैन भन्ने म्यापिङमा देखायो त्यसपछि लुमन्ती तर्फबाट चाहिँ नि हामीले त्यहाँ कम्युनिटीमा चाहिँ म्यापिङ गर्यौं म्यापिङको साथसाथै हामीले त्यहाँको परिचय पत्र पनि बनायौं त्यसपछि यो प्रोसेसलाई दुईटालाई प्रक्रिया अगाडि बढाइसकेपछि त्यो कुरा लिएर चाहिँ नि गभर्नमेन्टमा हामीले लबी गर्यौं
The lobbying was an uphill task, and while it took place, the entire Pariya family of 11 people lived in a small rental room, praying that they will be able to find a new home. The NGO Lumanti pressed on for 2 years together with the community, pressuring the local government. Eventually, $42,000 was raised to purchase lands for the families affected in the Kirtipur district, which is an hour away from central Kathmandu. Half of the money was raised by Lumanti, and the other half came from the government. And while the land cost was funded, families living here will have to pay the cost of housing construction on a monthly installment basis for 15 years.
अब किर्तिपुरमा बसेर त धेरै सुविधा छ नि हजुर अब पानीको सुविधा छ लुगा धुनी भाडा मान्ने भनौं अब नुहाई धुवाई लुगा धुनी सबै एकदम राम्रो छ आफ्नो घर भयो झन् खुसी भइराछौं हजुरले घर दिनु भयो हामी खुसी भएर एकदम राम्रो भइराछ एकदम खुसी छौं हामी त म्याडमहरुलाई हामी त भगवान सरी मान्छौं हेरी अब एकदम राम्रो छ अब पैसा तिर्न पाए छिटै तिर्न पाए आफ्नो हुन्थ्यो भन्ने हामीलाई त्यो धारणा छ अहिले त सबै कोठामा छोराबारी एकातिर हामी एकातिर बच्चाहरु एकातिर बस्न पाइया छ एकदम खुसी छौं हजुर हामी
The Pariya family now lives in a double-story home. They have proper toilets, a kitchen, and adequate space for the entire family.
Before it was very polluted and the people were most used to become sick. But now we are getting so nice environment in this, and house is also good. We have 4 rooms and we are decorating it all. I am having good environment for my study also. When we were there, most of the people were Bulgars, yeah, and we didn't get a good proper education facilities there also. But now we are getting a good environment for our studies, and my sisters and brothers are also having good environment here, and they are learning good things. From this environment makes the people good or bad, yes, and we are getting a good environment living here.
The Kirtipur housing project not only provides shelter to affected families, but also sets a precedent of being an eco-friendly community. To overcome the problem of water shortage, rainwater is collected from the roofs. It flows into underground tanks for storage and is accessed using hand pumps or wells. Families used to only be able to access water once a week from tanks. Now water is readily available. A disposal system has also been introduced, and families have been educated on recycling initiatives. For a city facing dire pollution problems, Kirtipur is a model resettlement project, but it has not been replicated.
Kirtipur housing project is the first planned relocation project in the urban areas, and we are very glad that we did it, and we regard it as a very successful project. The challenge of replicating Kirtipur housing project in Kathmandu and also in other cities is the lack of funds to purchase land itself. because the land price is now getting very, very expensive and there is no fund to purchase land.
The other problem is the high cost of construction. An average concrete house will cost $3,200 to build. But the average income is $400 a year in this country. Poverty makes home ownership an unreachable dream for many. It is common for 2 to 3 families to squeeze in one house, even in rural areas.
मेरो घरको समस्या अब सबै 6 जना परिवार त्यही बस्दा हामीलाई धेरै साङ्ग्रो थियो अब खाना पिन गर्ने एउटा कोठा अनि सुत्न बस्ने एउटा कोठा राखन धारण एउटा कोठा गर्दा धेरै साङ्ग्रो थियो अहिले हामीलाई एकदम फराकिलो भयो एकदम यो घर बनाएपछि फराकिलो भयो आमा बाहरुलाई पनि सजिलो हामीलाई पनि सजिलो भयो त्यही हो त
Habitat for Humanity, an international non-profit organization, changed all that when it built a new home for the family. These kids now have a bed instead of sleeping on the floor. Bamboo was used instead of concrete, and this cut the cost by half. This 2-room house cost $1,400 to build, and the family got a microfinance loan to pay it off slowly. As Nepal is prone to earthquakes, the use of bamboo instead of concrete will also reduce the rate of fatalities in the event of tremors.
यो घर बनाएपछि मलाई एकदम धेरै खुसी लाग्यो अब मैले अब घर बनाउँदाखेरि धेरै खर्च लाउँथ्यो त्यो खर्च लाउँदाखेरि अब मेरो छोरालाई धेरै पढ्नलाई समस्या थियो घर बनाउन समस्या थियो त्यो समस्याहरू अब यहाँ उहाँहरुले हेबिटेट संस्थाले घर बनाइदिनु हुनाले मलाई एकदम खुसी लाग्यो मैले छोरालाई पढाउने मौका नि पाएँ अनि मेरो श्रीमानले कमाएर के न के गर्ने मौकाहरु नि पाएँ.
For the first time, these kids have a place to study in their home. A proper house not only protects its inhabitants from the elements, but it is a critical factor in building confidence and hope and lifting families out of poverty. Whilst affordability is an issue, construction costs can be reduced by using local materials and employing local technologies so that village members can be hired for work.
Say, whenever we select an area, we also do an assessment of the available materials within the area and the type of housing and the housing materials that people have been using from the ages. So whenever we visit an area, if we see a lot of bamboo being used and available, then we introduce bamboo technology. When we see a lot of good clay that can be used for construction, when we see that, we promote that. We really work with the people, try to understand from the people, learn from the people what they have done, and try to adapt that and help them to understand the same technology because it adds dignity to their own technologies.
Habitat for Humanity has built 5,000 homes in Nepal so far, and its target is to build another 5,000 houses in the next 2 years. Besides focusing on lowering the construction costs, it also offers housing finance to families. And it works with local NGOs such as Lumanti to do this. Many of the poor do not have access to bank loans, as they have no collateral to guarantee loans. So Habitat for Humanity works with NGO partners to form saving groups to save funds to renovate or build new homes. A community savings group offers a more flexible loan payment structure, and very simple documentation is needed. These address some of the barriers that the poor face in financing.
पहिला एउटा छाप्रा मात्रै हो मिस कोठाहरू थिएन हैन छ्वालीले छाएको थियो अनि छ्वालीले छाएर अनि कोठाहरू केही थिएन अनि वस्तु त्यो भैँसीहरू एक दुईवटा पाडाहरू पालो भने त्यही एकै ठाउँमा बान्नी राख्ने त्यही गोबर फोहोर मैला सबै त्यही हुन्थ्यो अनि अब यहाँ 7 जना परिवार त्यही बसियो छोराछोरी हामी श्रीमती श्रीमान गरेर 7 जना बसियो त्यही अब 10, 12, 13 वर्षै हामीले जिन्दगी त्यहीँ बितायौँ अनि बिताएर अब अहिले हुँदाखेरि अब यस्तोमा बसेर यत्रो परिवार इष्टमित्र पाउन पात्ने आउने भए अनि यहाँ बसेर हुँदैन भनेर अब ऋण निकालेर यो घर बनाइयो। अब दुःख त दुःख नि मिस, अब त्यस्तो साङ्ग्रो ठाउँमा वस्तुहरू पालेर 7 जना परिवार बिताउन कोठाहरू केही पनि एउटा पनि छैन, दुईटा एउटै छैन कोठा, सबै खुलामखुला छ। अनि महिनैपछि महिनामा तिर्दाखेरि हुने, गाउँको अब 36 को ब्याज तिर्दाखेरि त एकै फेरि डक्को तिर्नु पर्यो। के गरी सामा चुक्ता भएन भने बुझ्दैनन्, ऋण बुझ्दैनन्। अब यो त किस्ता गरेरै चुक्ति भएर जाँदाखेरि हामीलाई सजिलो लागिरहेछ महिनामा तिर्दाखेरि।
Putali no longer has to line up pots in her house to collect water from a leaky straw roof during storms. Posters adorn her new home, which is constructed using mud brick walls and has better insulation against the cold. She expects that she should be able to repay her microfinance loan in 3 years. Housing microfinance clearly addresses the need of sustainable livelihood. But the scale of the problem in Nepal requires that much more be done, faster. Government data shows that nearly 430,000 families live in substandard housing in Nepal. With peace being reinstated in the country after a decade-long insurgency, the hope is that development will keep pace in this mountain state.